Morning. I'm so glad to see everybody. I didn't recognize you because I became fascinated with the pants that you were wearing.
Sorry.
I never saw your face. So they asked me to talk, and I get to choose. So I thought I would talk about walking meditation. I don't see people do a lot of walking meditation. I see people sitting and sitting and sitting, and then they get up and they walk for maybe 5 minutes, or maybe not even that long, and they come and sit down again. And some people never get up to walk. And then there are the ones like me who want to walk all the time. And I can't do it right now, until I somehow want to learn. But I think it's really good not to overlook the practice of walking with awareness of not just your own movement, or the movement of the hand, or your own body, but also your relationship in space to everything that is here. And those things move. They move all the time, so that you don't get to focus on something. I mean, you might say, oh, there's a great bird. But the bird gets up and flies away almost as soon as you've decided that this is what you want to see. We do tend to, in sitting meditation, we tend to get too attached to what we see. And of course, it's beautiful, right? It's wonderful. We want to bask in the beauty of it. But, that we have to move on to the next moment. And with walking, the next moment is your next step. So it's not that, when wondering about, they always talk about moment by moment, you say, how long is a moment? Is a moment just like this little thing, or is a moment what I want it to be, or is it just something I can see changes, or something that I think differently, or something like that. I always wonder what a moment is. But with walking meditation, it's the next step. So you just keep doing it. And whatever happens in that, you are there to know it, to see it, to experience it. And so I think that it is like a really important tool for developing our practice. Now that I'm sort of crippled up, I really miss walking outside of it. Of course, now there's insects. But I mean, you can walk inside and not be attacked by animals. And so it's more like that. When my daughter was being treated for cancer in New York, I would go in to meet her at the doctor's there. And I would take the train from Westport and get on the subway, and it was easy because I had to go up to 69th Street. And then you could go off, and of course there's everybody on the planet there at 69th Street because Bloomingdale's is there. And so it would be, this my sense of, at the time, of moment to moment was more like what obstacles were in my way. But I would walk on those sidewalks, and I would try very hard to be aware. And so it would happen in these little things, and then you have to get out of the way of somebody who's walking really fast, or you come to the halal cart, and your whole universe changes because it smells so great. And all that was, it's part of the practice, but what I really appreciate about it is that what I see and what I evaluate as I'm walking, with walking meditation, is sort of subsumed by the effort to be aware. When you're in here and you're doing this, you can go a long time without being aware that you're unaware. And And I wanted to avoid that in walking in New York because it was very hard to be aware. Step by step, 69th Street, cross over to 2nd Avenue or 3rd Avenue, crossing the street, noticing the Starbucks or whatever was over there, cutting that off and just walking, making sure that the light is with me, which doesn't matter in New York, you can still get run down. And walking to the Sloan Kettering, going in there, you have a revolving door, and I always felt somehow that was a lot about my awareness, was the revolving door part of it. Like, I'm aware, I'm not, I think I'm aware, but I'm not, I'm aware. Other people are pushing me to go faster. So I thought it was a wonderful opportunity to have to walk in Manhattan, and I imagine it's the same in Bangkok. You just have to work on it. So now that I'm sort of unable to walk very well, I miss walking, and I'm making myself walk, and it hurts. And McCann once said, well, if it hurts, it's good. You're aware of it. No, it doesn't. You're not having my pain, so don't tell me. But it's sort of true in a way too. I mean, you're aware of it, and you know when the twinge is coming. When you move your foot this way, and all these things. So it is turning a sort of ordinary activity, like at home, between the kitchen and where I have my desk. It's quite a long way to be aware. I mean, a lot of times I don't want to be because I see the mess, but it's just, if I were sitting and doing this at the window, I'd be looking out the thing and saying how beautiful the trees are billowing and all this thing. When I'm walking in the house, it's me and whatever space is around. And that feels right. It's just like this. It's not sort of like, oh, it's shh. And so I recommend it. How many minutes have I spoken? So yes, and so when you're walking, you don't have to think about anything else. So you can walk with a broom. I sweep my balcony off when I'm practicing sometimes. And the movement is great. It's not repetitive the way this. I mean, this is wonderful, right? But I mean, it's this whole other world where you can't do that. When you're when I was go into New York, I'd be sitting in a seat, and it was wonderful. One time I saw somebody sitting across the way, and she was going like this, but I had never seen her, so I didn't know if she got it from some other place or whether it's what she was taught in a place like this. That was really a neat thing, but most people are on their phones. Mm-hmm. And I think, well, there's so many opportunities for just practicing. And so when you walk on the street in New York, nobody is going to notice whether you're doing this. They're not going to notice you at all. They're not even going to get out of your way. You're on this corridor of just whatever is happening and not being a part of it. It doesn't sound right, but it's not being a part of it. It's just seeing it or hearing it or feeling it under your feet and the change. And oops, I didn't pick up that acorn. Ouch. I find it to be, when I come in here and I think I should really get up and walk, and then usually somebody else is walking and they're walking that way, which they shouldn't do. And I don't want to interrupt them or be interrupted. so I don't do as much. And now I hurt, but I still walk, and there's walking there. Every time I pivot, it would go, ah. But then I really think of Nick and saying, that's good, that's good. Just feel it, and move on. So why don't people do more walking meditation? How long have you been walking?
I'm a person who does walking meditation. Sometimes I come and I spend a half hour outside.
Yeah, you do.
And then I'll come and walk back here. I consider myself among the walkers.
You are. And I don't call walks. You just walk. And how do you feel, does it help in seeing thought, or does it make the slightest bit of difference?
Well, I think it's more interesting than sitting.
Yeah.
And in some respects, I find sitting more distracting. Also, it doesn't hurt when you walk. I don't feel discomfort. And when I do, well, then yeah, I can understand that would be an impediment. Also, walking is challenging in a funny way because it involves your posture and physical relaxation and alignment, and that can be challenging to realize that you're physically out of whack or off balance, and I think it's sort of a fun wake up when you're walking. You're like, oh, I'm sure where I should be standing now. So that's why I like to do it. Glad you spoke about New York City. I thought I was the only one. So I appreciate your comments there tremendously. I really can't add to your commentary there, except to affirm. I totally agree.
Thank you. I know you feel put on the spot, but you do. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I just want to play that.
Thank you. Wonderful. Have you done much walking meditation?
When I went to Thich Nhat Hanh's place in upstate New York, they did a lot of walking meditation. It's funny, at the Barry Insight Center in Massachusetts, when we first got there, we were told, watch out for the neighbors because sometimes they think we're zombies and they report us to the police because they see all these walking people on their property, so be careful. So.
So what do you experience when you're doing walking meditation?
It's actually easier for me to clear my mind than it is sitting. Because the body just takes over and it's on automatic pilot. And so then...
And so when you're walking, do you see the thought coming up or become aware that they are racing?
Well, I would say when I'm sitting, I visualize more, and when I'm walking, it's auditory. I will start hearing things like music. So.
Hearing it is
just in my mind, but then also you know what earworms are, when you get a particular jingle in your head, you can't get it out, like an old commercial or something. Yeah, it's funny, when I'm walking, I hear all sorts of things from my past, like things people have said, and they occur to me while I walk along. But that doesn't happen when I'm sitting, when I see things, you know, in my mind's eye. It's interesting, it's different.
Yeah, I would agree. I was thinking about this yesterday in the auditory element of thought, if you will. I have similar experiences. I may meditate and see something. As an example, yesterday I noticed I was thinking about numbers. Oh yeah, just another zero at the end of that number. I could see it. I could see myself doing that math. It was not deliberate, but I could see that going on for some reason. The auditory thing, I have that as well. I don't hear us speak about that very often. Almost like hear a thought. Hear a thought is one way of describing it. It sounds crazy. It sounds like that's what a crazy person would say, but like you're hearing voices. But it's not hearing voices. It's simply noticing that there's a sound or a voice there, and you can. It has a sound to it. It's very similar to the visual aspect that we often talk about. We rarely mention the auditory. And it's actually when you hear it, it's actually quite liberating. You separate from that sound.
Yes, to stand apart from it, or say, well, yeah, that's. I think that so often, like, it's just that it's sort of realizing that our kind of default way is to actually believe, even though if somebody asked you, you would say no, but you actually believe that this is you. You know what I mean? And that's I think that it's those voices or those sounds and everything like that, and that somehow. When I was about, I guess in my early 20s, I sought the help of a psychiatrist. This did not last long. And the reason for that was that he had, the reason, really, was that when I told him about recurring thoughts that were so gruesome and terrible to me, the torture of animals and things like that, and it was just this thing I was really, wanted to not have that. And he said, well, you're the one having those thoughts, they're your thoughts. And I actually threw something at him when he said that, because it was not true, and it was a sort of a vicious thing to say, but it was vicious only because he didn't know. He didn't know anything about it. And I've never forgotten that, because I knew that it wasn't me, and then when we hear monks speak about awareness and speaking and reading about the detachment of ourselves, or what we think of as ourselves, which when we think of ourselves, it's so crowded with stuff, but as that crowding goes away, then what we see, and we have the freedom to be able to see that this is not me. I always think of Ajahn telling us it's like somebody coming to visit you, and they didn't ask to come, and you didn't want them to come, but there they are, and now they're trying to get you to give them a cup of coffee or something like that. He's saying, you just let them go. It's not you. It's not you. And that, for me, is very liberating. And the walking is kind of like that too. You're sort of letting everything go, letting everything go, letting everything go. So that's why I'm for it. That's why I'm saying that. And I know there are other people who don't feel that way. I'm looking at the time and wondering when I will be liberated from this.
You can keep talking, it's okay.
I gotta think of something to say, but I did want to say that I really feel when I get up to walk, I really think, why didn't I do this sooner? I should have never sat down. So thank you, everybody. Oh, yes, Nina.
I'll share
Thank you.
that I think my mind is a little more active when I do walking. Like I'll come here and I'll walk outside, and it's more, not like anything dramatic, but just more active with, I have to do this, and what's the shopping list, or I have to call that person. And maybe because it feels more like everyday life, that you're moving, or you're making a cup of coffee, or you're doing something that doesn't require a lot of attention, but you're thinking along with it. And when I'm sitting, it's more of a, clearly I've sat here for meditation. There's nothing else that I can really do here now other than the meditation. So sometimes with the walking, I will bring myself to the awareness of the movement and the sensations. What helps me with the meditation is, people have talked about auditory is when I focus on something tactile, that helps for me to really, be a grounding. So I'll do that with the walking, and that will help take me out of the planning brain. So, nothing dramatic, but that's kind of how I experience.
Letting Michael mention, can you hear me okay? Because I know you may not be able to hear me. Can you hear me all right?
If you keep the volume up, yes.
When we had our 5-day retreat, someone was talking about walking and the difference between meditative walking and a journey. Journey being going from here to some far off place, walking in a straight line there, something more short distance, and walking meditation being a short distance with a turn at the end, specifically a turn at the end, a moment of change at the end where you to break it, go, break, as you move back and forth. It was an interesting distinction. I hadn't thought about it. I don't know, isn't walking just walking? The walking meditation seems very deliberately organized around stopping at a reasonable distance, changing direction, so everything changes.
Right.
All the spatial arrangements change briefly, and then going and doing it again and again. It strikes me that's sort of the essence of it. It's not the walking, maybe, that's part of it, but it's the moment of change. Yeah.
And that's the thing about walking in New York is everyone has a moment of change. In a sense, we all want it. But yeah.
It's funny, last time I walked in New York, I had no fewer than 3 collisions throughout the day because other people were simply not looking where they were going. Yeah, they walked right into me.
So at least they weren't in a car doing that.
Right,
Happens
very lucky.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna give myself and all of you a break and say thank you very much for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for talking. I should have asked you about walking meditation. I know you do a lot of it. I've seen you walking.
Yeah, it depends on the physical body.
Yes.
Sometimes you sit for too long, and you would like to change the posture.
You want the blood to go all the way through.
Yes, right. And after you walk for too long, then you would like to sit down. So it depends on the condition of the body.
Yes. Then you feel your heart.
If you walk and then your mind is very clear, you can see thought and let thought go, then you should continue.
Yeah, that's right. Keep going. Because more thought will come and then you'll see it go, and or you'll realize suddenly that you have been really aware, and now you're making your grocery list. Back and forth.
Right. So whatever the posture that you feel good and your meditation is going well, you can see thought and let the thought go. Either sitting or walking,
Yeah.
then you should stay in that
Yeah.
posture longer.
As longer as you can.
Right.
Thank you. It's good. It's good to go back over these things too, you know, just to go back always to the beginning, it helps me. Okay.
And sometimes rubbing the fingers.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. As I saw the woman on the train doing that.
I'm sure she wasn't asking for money.
No.
People do that to ask for change.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. This time I want to take it off and not stand up and put it down.
Okay.